Gravy loves abstract expressionism. Gravy loves abstract expressionism. Gravy loves MoCA Create at Home. Welcome to MoCA Create at Home. My name is Taylor and I'm an educator at MoCA, and this is my cat, Roux. And if this is your first time joining us for MoCA Create at Home, welcome. If you have been with us before, welcome back. During MoCA Create at Home, we learn all about MoCA, we learn about our collection, what we document and share, and we make art together using art supplies that you already have at home. June is Pride Month, and during MoCA Create at Home, we'll be celebrating and learning about AAPI artists who are also a part of the LGBTQIA community. Today we'll be learning about the Abstract Expressionist artist, Bernice Bing, and we'll be making our own Abstract Expressionist landscapes. Bernice Bing, nicknamed Bingo, was born to Chinese American parents in 1936. Bernice never knew her father, and her mother passed away when she was only 6. She and her sister spent the rest of their childhood with mostly white foster families and in an orphanage, but sometimes they lived with their grandmother. Bernice's grandmother was very strict, but praised Bernice's drawing, which really encouraged her to continue creating art. When she graduated high school, she got a scholarship to go to the California College of Arts and Crafts. There, she began working with artist Saburo Hasegawa, who was originally from Japan. In school, the art history she learned was Western art history, and Hasegawa helped introduce her to Eastern views, art, and thought, like Zen art and philosophy. During her time in school, Bernice started to connect with her identity as someone of Asian descent and as a lesbian. Bernice was also a community arts activist. She co-organized the Neighborhood Arts Program along with a number of other organizations. The Neighborhood Arts Program worked with gangs in Chinatown to help create arts programs as an alternative for youth in the neighborhood. In 1984, when she was 48, Bernice visited China for the first time. She learned more about calligraphy, Chinese painting, and ideograms, which are pictures or symbols that represent an idea or thing. This trip changed the way that she approached her art. She felt, in her own words, that in a roundabout way, I was able to integrate my ethnicity into my art. Even though her trip to China and Asia really helped Bernice to feel connected to her heritage, it was also isolating. She often felt like she didn't belong and said she felt like she was, quote, a stranger. After returning from her trip to China, Bernice moved to the country in California, where she continued to paint and worked as a waitress and a counselor at a youth center. She died of cancer in 1998. Now that we know a little more about Bernice, let's learn about the art she made. Bernice was an abstract expressionist. Abstract expressionism is hard to describe because it can look like a lot of different things. Every artist did something different. Let's break down the term abstract expressionism. Abstract means that the art doesn't look like something specific, like an object or a thing. It doesn't show something that you could pick up or hold. Expressionism means expressing yourself and sharing your feelings through art. Often, abstract expressionist artists use unusual materials and try out new things. Let's take a look at some of Bernice Bing's paintings. What do you notice about this artwork of hers? What colors do you see? What kinds of lines and brushstrokes did Bernice use? What shapes can you find? What feeling does this painting give you? Happy, sad, nervous, excited, or something totally different? Do you think this painting is showing or representing an object, thing, or place? This work is a landscape painting of mountains, but you can't see all the details of the mountains like you can in many other landscape paintings. As I'm sure you noticed, Bernice used a lot of different sections of different colors to create this painting. She usually uses a few main colors and adds some other accent colors. She used this style when painting other things, like people. Her brushstrokes, or the marks she made on the canvas, are also really visible. Later in her life, she did a lot more work that was completely abstract. What do you notice about this painting? I see less colors and more lines. In particular, a lot of squiggly lines. But there are also some really bold straight lines. Today, we are going to make our own paintings in Bernice's style. I made a landscape similar, or at least inspired by her artwork. Here are some supplies that you might want to use. Bernice was a painter, but if you don't have painting supplies at your house, you can of course feel free to create this project using markers, pencils, pastels, oil pastels, crayons, whatever you have available to you. Bernice created a whole series of paintings of the Mayacamas mountain range, so I decided to also do a landscape based off of those mountains. As you saw earlier, this is my finished painting, and I started off by drawing the general shapes of this landscape. It helped me if I squinted at the photo, and that way I could really just see the broad general shapes and lines instead of getting focused in on the details. I focused on a few main colors, yellow and orange and purple, and then I went in with some accents. So I used some black and red accents in my painting and also some blue and some white. But I wanted my colors to be really vibrant and strong, just like Bernice's colors in her paintings. I also played around with some different textures. So a lot of my different shapes and sections of color, I really just used a line that was sort of straight. But in this section, there were a lot of vineyards or trees with a lot of leaves. I added sort of a more spotty texture to try and show the difference between the foreground, the background, and this middle ground. I also picked the colors that I chose thinking about expressionism and really how this landscape made me feel instead of what I saw. I felt like it was probably really hot, really relaxing. And so I sort of tried to combine like some colors that I feel like are really relaxing, like purples, but also these colors that seem really happy and also really hot. So these reds and yellows and oranges. Thanks so much for joining me and Roux and Gravy for MoCA Create at Home. We hope you had a great time learning all about Bernice Bing, her artwork, and abstract expressionism. We'd love to see and hear about what you created. What did you decide to paint? Did you stick really closely to Bernice's style? Or did you try something different? Thanks again, and we'll see you next time!